Okay, next thing we're going to go into now is the discussion portion of the deck. So these are going to be different cards that you can play, can tech in, however you want to do it, and this is just going to be my opinions on them and why these did not make it inside my deck. So the next card is going to be, first card, sorry, is going to be Toon Dark Magician. To be honest, I really liked the idea of Toon Dark Magician and Toon Dragon. However, you have to tribute summon for them, unless you're going to target, like a rank 8 or a rank 7 with Toon Mask that your opponent controls and special summon into these cards, then sure, by all means, if that happens, that's awesome. But being able to, being forced to tribute summon with this card isn't that great, because it's not because you have to control 2 monsters, and you're trying to get rid of 2 of your monsters you control in order to gain advantage, and then at that point you could either lose a game, or if you tribute summon 2 monsters and into a set Solemn Scolding or a Solemn Warning, or I'm sorry, Solemn Strike, then you're kind of fucked, so I would say not to play these, in my opinion. You can definitely play this if you want to make it work. I tried. There is Monarch Stormforth, to cut 1 card out of the equation, but there is these 2 cards, and also with this card over here, you can play, if you play these cards and Card Guard and the Summoner Monk plays, you can utilize Lure of Darkness. Toon Dark Magician Go is also a dark card, so that's one option for you guys. And then going back to this card, Card Guard and the Summoner Monk play. You normal summon, discard a spell, special summon Card Guard, place a counter on Toon Kingdom, then make Master Key Beetle, and then locking your Toon Kingdom can be pretty good. But there are other ways for people to get rid of Master Key Beetle, and kind of getting around that lock, and if a card doesn't technically destroy, people can still get rid of Toon Kingdom. So if they bounce things back, then you're kind of fucked. You can't stop that. I mean, you can side deck for like Valor and your Solemn Strikes, your Solemn Warnings. However, you it's also situational, and the situation that I explained is also very situational as well. But this is one thing to consider, and I also felt like I was really wasting my normal summon with this card, so I just felt like maybe I might try it again, but for right now, I don't want to play this. It wasn't bad, don't get me wrong, it was not bad. It was a pretty good lock, and in theory, it's a fucking amazing combo piece. And then next we have Necroface, which I should put Pot of Desires next to it. So everyone is trying to play Pot of Desires as a staple. Banish 10 cards, draw 2. And with Toon Kingdom, you're already banishing cards from your deck. So originally I thought maybe try to play Necroface before Pot of Desires ever came out, because of being able to get your deck, back, fill it back up with your banished cards. And it didn't work out too well, but now that Pot of Desires is up, if you were to normal summon Necroface, you kind of get a bigger use out of it, being able to boost it a lot more with attack. So I feel like maybe you could try out these 2 combo pieces. Pot of Desires could be a staple. You will deck thin a shit ton with Pot of Desires and Toon Kingdom, though. That is one thing to take in consideration. And if you Pot of Desires your first turn and you don't have any searchers in hand, you might lose all of those searchers in those the banishing process. So next we have Magician of Faith. In my opinion, a very slow card. You have to flip, target 1 spell card in your graveyard, adds your hand. So if your Toon Kingdom is destroyed or anything like that, or you want to grab a searcher again, you can utilize this card. This card, though, will be kind of slow, having to use your normal summon and set for this, and then having it to be flipped up. I wouldn't go with this. It is an option, though. This is what this whole process is. This whole part right here is just for discussion, just to get you guys thinking what else you can possibly play. Next we have Lure of Darkness. Already explained that with all the dark cards over here. Next we have Instant Fusion. So this was actually one of my favorite techs that I had tried out, and it wasn't bad. I'd probably try to fit it into my deck again, to be honest. And it would be Instant Fusion into Norden, special summoning a level 4 from the grave that might have been destroyed, or Instant Fusioning into Panzer Dragon while Toon Cyber Dragon is on the field, then going into Cyber Nova, then going into Cyber Infinity. That is probably a busted ass play. Free special summon with Toon Cyber into Instant Fusion, into Overlay, and boom, there you go. I really like that piece. That's one thing to really consider, guys. Next we have Magical Stone Excavation. Discard 2 cards, target 1 spell, add it to your hand. Also kind of slow, paying very big cost in order to get this card going. But next we have Demise of the Land. A very good tech card that I feel like no one really paid attention to when I first introduced this into the deck profile, and it's a free special summon. It's a free summon, or like a free activation from your deck in a sense. So if your opponent special summons, select 1 field spell card from your deck and then just activate it. So being able to, if you don't draw into your searchers and you have this and they special summon, which basically every deck does now, you can just go straight into this and then just activate straight away. Next we have Moon Mirror Shield, and this card, I know a lot of people were wanting to play this with Toon Gemini Elf in order to kind of buff them up so you don't take battle damage, you know, and then still get your draws. Pretty good idea in theory. However, you would have to draw into them and everything like that, and kind of wouldn't want to waste you know, my normal summoning and everything like that with this card. However, with the addition of, you know, like Curse Seal and Magic Drain, you can remove the process of getting Twin Twister. That was my main concern with this card, but it is something you can play. Next is Pseudo Space. Activate by removing one field spell card from your graveyard to have this card be treated as such. So maybe you're going to play 3 Terraforming and you want an extra target. That would be this card. But that'll probably be mid-game or anything like that where you activate this, and it would probably have to be a first turn play, because like it'd have to be a one-time play, because Pseudo Space is only activated until the end phase. So if you activate it and then on your opponent's turn they go into popping it or they go into attacking your monster, it'll die. Next we have Lose One Turn. So we used to play this, and this card was actually meant for this deck in what we thought, but you do have to control a special summon monster. So with the additions of, you know, Toon Mermaid and Toon Dark Magician Girl, it'll kind of be a little bit harder to activate. However, I would probably still try to find room for this card as well. This card is so clutch against your opponent's decks. It's so good for stunning. So probably try to play Lose One Turn. Next we have Curse of Royale, and basically all these next counter cards you see over here is just some ideas for you guys to take into consideration. We have Curse of Royale. Negate the activation of a spell or trap card that includes the effect of destroying one spell or trap card and destroy it. So the big issue with this is if they activate Twin Twister, you basically can't activate this card, because Twin Twister destroys 2 cards in the field. Unless they're only going to target 1 card, then you can activate this, which is also a free negation. Not bad. But like I said, other cards can bounce things back, so you can't stop that either. Retort. When your opponent activates a spell or trap card with the same name as one in your graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Then add 1 card with the same name from your graveyard to your hand. So basically, if let's say you decide to play Twin Twister in your Toon World deck, and they Twin Twister you, and then you activate this card, you get to negate it, and then add that Toon Twister from your graveyard back to your hand. So I mean, also super situational, super situational, but can be considered for, you know, mirror matches for other decks, you know, for you guys to take into consideration. Next we have Spell Vanishing. Discard 2 cards from your hand to negate the activation of a spell card and destroy it, and then check your opponent's hand and deck. If you find any spell cards with the same name as the destroyed spell card, send them all to the graveyard. So this card is super fucking crazy. Kind of like no one would see this coming. Discard 2 cards to negate it though is a big cost, but it could work, and if it does work, that is fucking awesome. You get to see into their hand, and then you get to get rid of them from their deck. So pretty good. Spell Shield type 8. When a spell card is activated, the target's exactly 1 monster in the field, negate it, and then when a spell is activated, send 1 spell card from your hand, negate the activation if you destroy it. So with this is basically like Curse Seal. You send 1 spell card from your hand to negate it, except Curse Seal will stop that spell card for the rest of the duel. Next we have Judgment of Anubis. When your opponent activates a spell card that would destroy a spell or trap card on the field, discard 1 card, negate the activation, and if you do destroy it, then you can destroy 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, and if you do that, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's attack on the field. So this card is pretty good. It's pretty fucking crazy and wild. However, the big reason why I'm pointing out is that people have to destroy things with all these cards is that, you know, Cosmic Cyclone exists, and being able to bounce cards back exists. So these cards would probably be a little bit harder to actually get off, but something to take into consideration. Next we have Madolche Tea-Break. So when a spell or trap card is activated, if you have no monsters in your graveyard, negate the activation. If you do, return it to the hand. And then the rest of it is irrelevant if you're not playing Madolches. But basically, because you save your monsters by banishing the top card of your deck, they never go to the graveyard. So if you get Madolche Tea-Break pretty early game, then you know what, that could work. It's just something for you guys to think about. Next we have Magic Jammer. When a spell card is activated, discard 1 card, negate the activation to destroy it. Also kind of like Curse Seal, except this is just a free negation. I'd probably play Magic Jammer and Magic Drain 2. I just wanted to throw in Magic Seal, you know, to be different, you know, and kind of see how that would work out and see the stun effect of that. But Magic Jammer is probably the next best thing next to Magic Drain. Next you have Dark Bribe. Nobody ever fucking plays this card. When an opponent's spell or trap is activated, draw 1. Your opponent draws 1 card and then negate the activation. So it's kind of like, what if you negate a Twin Twister and then they draw into a Twin Twister, you know? So next we have Solemn Scolding. If this card is the only set card in your spell or trap card zone when a monster would be summoned, or a spell card or trap card or monster effect is activated, pay 3,000, negate it. So this card's also not bad. Has to be the only set card though. Can be another form of fighting back against cards that pop and destroy, and also just stopping summons. Next we have the Huge Revolution is over, and this card, when a spell or trap card or effect monster is activated that destroys 2 or more cards in the field, negate the activation and banish it. So that's kind of a cool effect. It also stops monsters, so it's not bad. Probably won't see much play, but this is just another thing to consider for you guys. And then we have Master Key Beetle for the Summoner Monk card guard plays. So there's that. That is going to conclude this deck profile and discussion, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to comment in the comment section and let me know what cards I might have forgotten and what you guys would most likely want to see in a Toon deck and what you guys are playing and what works for you guys. But just take this and just know that the deck is meant for a skeleton or a net deck or whatever. You don't have to play it by all means. Don't let me enforce my opinions onto you guys. So yep, that's gonna do it. So we'll see you guys next time on TGMP. Rolanda signing out.